Welcome back to Things You Might Not Have Heard. I am Jacob Payne, and this is the Friday edition for this show for the week. Survived the first week of the Christmas holiday break with some new things coming in. Hopefully you've enjoyed them. Let us know. Now, Things You Might Have Heard, presented by me, Jacob Payne, a part of the More Better Media landscape and the Conversation Project, is a way for you to engage in news stories and have conversations about things that are worthy of talking about. And you tell us that they're worthy because we let you know first what we're talking about. You vet the stories, and we cover politics, current events, pop culture, and information news. And you have helped us pick 8 stories for this morning, including some Silicon Valley chatter, some ChatGPT non-chatter, and Wicked going streaming. And this is a good thing for all of us. And 5 other stories for the morning. We'll explain the full vetting process after the end of the headlines. But I want to remind you that we have a way for you to see what you can see about us and learn about us in the meantimes. This is theconversationproject.com is our website. And of course, our email address, theconversationinbox@gmail.com. You can see what we are, understand and learn about us. And of course, send your comments and complaints to the email address as you need to. Today, I already said it was Friday. It's Friday, December 27th of 2024. We have wrapped up the first week of the big end of the year holiday, the Christmas holiday. And then next week, although most people don't get the full days off because New Year's is on a Wednesday, which makes it weird. It's still a holiday week for most practical purposes. Things are getting started. It's your resolution week. So we'll get things going there next week with some more changes and getting more things settled. But for right now, thank you so much for all the comments we've had for the things we've done that we've played around with. If you're new here, just assume that some things are new, some things aren't, and just go ahead and give us your responses to anything you see out here. Let's get to the news. And the big story out bat is what's going on with the Azerbaijan Airlines crash, killing at least 38 people. There's still some people who are fighting for their lives. Questions are arising over the issue on this Christmas Day crash. Flight 8243 of Azerbaijan Airlines, an Embraer 190 plane, which is en route from Azerbaijan to Russia. And it crashed in Kazakhstan. And 38 fatalities at the moment of the 67 occupants. Some people are still fighting for their lives. Now, recent investigations are suggesting that the aircraft may have been struck by a Russian surface-to-air missile and not by the bird strike that they initially said. Sources indicate that the plane was likely hit by a Russian Pantsir air defense unit over Chechnya, leading to eventual crash during an emergency landing attempt in Kazakhstan. Why is that an issue? Well, because the Russians are fighting with the Ukrainians, and they may have thought it was a drone. Now, the flight experienced significant deviations from its intended course due to adverse weather conditions and potential GPS jamming, because the Russians are fighting drones in the area, and a plane flying through would find issues and was just trying to make its way through the airspace without knowing that there was a battalion of the surface air missiles down there on the ground. They recounted, the survivors recounted hearing explosions, observing shrapnel damage prior to the crash. And so we'll get more actual responses because there are actual witnesses, people who survived the crash, who can talk about it going forward. Russian authorities are not saying much of anything right now because they don't. Kremlin's not saying anything about its air defense systems or the crash other than they feel bad for the people in the crash a few days ago. Nothing has changed. The investigation unfolds, and with actual second black box being found this morning, I believe, or this morning our time, I believe, we'll have more details on what may have happened atmospherically and with details from more survivors, more witnesses. This may get Russia in trouble or not. Let's move on to story number 2 this morning. The U.S. universities, many U.S. universities are urging international students to return to their campuses before the 20th of January, the Trump inauguration. Because day one stuff is going to happen, so says Donald Trump. Several U.S. colleges and universities are advising international students to return back to campus before the inauguration day because they believe a travel ban will go into effect pretty quickly. If you remember the first go round, pretty much days after Trump was in office, that first weekend, all Muslims were blocked out of their airspace. We didn't let any Muslims in the country for like a couple of weeks because of a travel ban that was poorly designed and basically kept people from coming back to work, which was really odd. But institutions like Harvard, Brown, Northwestern, MIT, and University of Southern California have advised their international students to get back to the States before there's an issue with getting back to the States if there's a travel ban. And we'll talk about them literally in moments about these international students. Cornell University specifically warned that a new travel ban might come to place and keep countries like China and India and their students from coming back into the country. So the staff, the students, and anyone that's faculty from China would have issues getting back onto American soil after January 21st because they believe a January 20 travel ban will go into effect. No reason to say that they know this from any real knowledge, except for the fact that it happened last time, and there are just sort of rumblings and rumors that it'll probably happen again to sort of sort out what's going on in the America First sort of limelight. Remember, the first one that happened was for Muslim countries days after the first term. And that was something that kept people out from getting back in the country for weeks while that was being settled. So they're being encouraged to come back early. We'll see who can come back in and stay and be ready for whatever they need to before January 20th. On Christmas Day, the Elstick 2 undersea power cable connecting Finland to Estonia experienced some unexplained outages. And this is due to a cross-border electricity transmission capacity of 1,016 mLs to 3,058 mLs. Essentially, it lost about 60% of its power from this thing. I shouldn't have read that number. They basically, at the time, it was flowing at about 658, and then things went down from there. What happened was a boat basically flew over. Went over there, and it basically cut the lines for the undersea cable. In response to the outage, Finnish authorities detailed the Eagle S, an oil tanker registered to the Cook Islands and linked to Russia's Shadow Fleet, suspiciously causing the damage to the cables. The vessel was escorted to Finland's waters, where officials discovered the anchors were missing, raising suspicions that the ship may have inadvertently or deliberately damaged the cable. The incident is currently being investigated by the case of aggravated sabotage. The European Union and NATO are, of course, kind of pissed out about it. Russia already worried about blowing up an airplane they didn't expect to blow up. It's also not saying much to this one as well. Speaking of those international students, and this is where I didn't think about the cross of this until I came on the air and thought about the issues going back and forth. There's an expected travel ban that may come to play right after inauguration, which means a lot of talent from the other nations won't get a chance to come back to work or come for the first time. In the meantime, there's a Twitter beef, X beef with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and the world, as those two were defending foreign-born hires in Silicon Valley, essentially dumping the America First sort of tagline and saying, no, those guys overseas are better than us, so they should come in. They should come in. But all the dirty folks trying to pick flowers and build houses, those guys, no, shouldn't come in. The defense of the practice of hiring foreign-born engineers in Silicon Valley emphasizes the necessity of attracting top global talent to maintain the U.S.'s competitive edge in technology and innovation. Musk believes, of course, he's the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, the challenges in sourcing highly skilled engineers is domestic. He stated that while companies prefer to hire American workers, that's what we do at American First, the motivation is not so great because there's a shortage of talented American engineers, which means they got to hire from a better group of folks out of the nation. Meanwhile, Vivek Ramaswamy also said foreign-born engineers have a cultural factor where they want it more. They need it. They want to come in and show up and win stuff. They are wanting to be the cultural winners and the not winners in the education realm. Instead of being the jock who wants to win in football, they want to be the valedictorian. They want to be the math Olympiad instead of the prom queen. They want to do all the things that the smart folks want to do, which is what we need to go bigger. Which sounds like Ramaswamy and Musk. Ramaswamy is born here, so because he ran for president, but he's a child of immigrants. And Musk, who is a immigrant himself, are dissing Americans and saying they're not good enough to do stuff. Because that's exactly what they just said. Now, critics are saying, you guys realize what you're saying, right, is that Americans are not smart enough to go for it, and you're pushing for more H-1B visas for the smart people from the other states to other nations that come here and work for y'all under indentured servitude sort of levels. They're not coming here of a free will per se, but they're coming here to get a better life, but they have to live by the rules given by the Silicon Valley folks, which is a really kind of extreme way of living anyway. People don't do that, don't live that way. Musk and Ramaswamy spent the night or day parts fighting with some top conservatives and some top Democrats saying, That ain't exactly how it should work, including Matt Gaetz and Coulter, who Matt Gaetz, I'm not sure why he's fighting those guys, but and Coulter has been battling some Trump stuff for a while, so it's there. It's an interesting take on what's going on because we do need top talent and we want to bring in more top talent from other nations. We do want the best talent here, but it's also the same issue where if you bring someone in from someplace else, that's an American job. Maybe that's the black jobs that those foreigners are taking. Maybe the black jobs are those jobs, those HB1 visa jobs coming in there. In that case, Trump, I got your back. I understand what's happening. They are taking black jobs, and they should not take black jobs. But I think you're talking about mechanics and house builders, which is part of the problem. Because I think that's what Ramaswamy and Musk are inferring, that the smart talent, we need the scientists and engineers to come here to do smart stuff for our technology. But, there's plenty of people on the streets that can do the dumb, dirty stuff. So why should they come in? Your mileage may vary on that one as well. We are stumbling through today's episode, so we'll see how many people will get the like, shares, and subscribe hit. But we're asking you anyway, if you like what you're seeing and like the news we're getting and picking the news that is a bit more interesting and giving you a perspective, actually giving you the chance to pick the news, we ask you to like the stories and like the videos we're producing. That shows me I'm doing the right things and showing the right videos and picking the right stories. The algorithms get to see that these are good stories where they're of people seeing in their views, and the people get them in their algorithms would see lots of likes, lots of views, and of course would check it out and see what's going on. Hopefully join the cavalcade. Share it with people you know who enjoy this type of coverage, because it's different coverage than what's going out there. I watch so much. To my left, I have a screen right now that where it has the news on one screen above it, and YouTube clips of news type things and commentary on the others. And I watch lots of different type of commentary. And one of the things that I have to battle is I'm not a copycat person. This is an exact replica of everything else going on. So it's a little different. So I need your help to show people that this different thing is worthy of checking up to, and them join the cavalcade as well. And everyone join the parade, the cavalcade, by subscribing if you're not a subscriber. Make sure you see this, whether it's live in your feed and when it comes live, or in the clips and the short things we do all day long. We try to provide news articles, news issues that are worthy of chatting up and aren't necessarily just all battling politics, all just a political thing. And so in order for you to see them and engage in them, it's easier if you subscribe to them in whatever feed you want to. We're very heavy on TikTok. A lot of comments on TikTok, so we get a lot of stuff from there. Heavy on YouTube, on Facebook, on X as well. Subscribe so you get these videos and our stuff in whatever feed you want to see it in. And if you're a YouTube subscriber, consider joining in a partnership as well. Join the membership as well. There's extra bonuses there. We'll talk about those in a moment. Now let's go on to more stories. 4 more to go. Starting off very quickly, as the time is keeps on slipping. With an engagement. And these two happy folks hopefully can do great things together or continue to spread the nonsense that is disinformation. Your mileage may vary. Sean Hannity and Ainsley Earhardt are engaged, sharing their joy with the world. The Fox personalities are now announcing their engagement. Hannity proposed to Earhardt on Christmas Day at a church in Florida, a location significant to both due to their shared faith. Couple have been dating privately for several years, expressed their joy and gratitude for support from families during the significant times of their lives. This one right here, a big one. Hannity is 62. Earhardt is 48. They have children from previous marriages, so they'll maintain good relationships with their ex-spouses, and they were informed beforehand before things basically going down. Hannity basically let people know that, hey, this wasn't going to be a freak thing. This was going to happen, and it was going to be something people will talk about because we're talking about it. They began the relationship back in 2019 specific. And so they kept it private for quite some time. This is something that you didn't really know about. And of course, they now are going to have a public ceremony expected to be, They've been together at public events, including arriving together at a wedding at Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster in New Jersey in 2019, whatever. They've been dating for a while. This is not a big, super secret, but now they're going to get married. They'll do a couple things together. Maybe they'll have the Morning Joe type deal where they can be on the same show and can do all that stuff and then ruin their reputations by doing married stuff on TV. I don't know. Congratulations to the couple. Hopefully they are happy and will maintain the happiness. And yeah. So I had a chance to spend some time away from my computer. I was doing it anyway, but the quick thoughts that I usually go to ChatGPT to pop in to get some formatting and get some ideas on how to work out for a few hours were paused because ChatGPT and Sora video generators had widespread technical issues across the world. This happened on your Boxing Day surprise. About 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, users encountered internal server errors messages attempting to access OpenAI's ChatGPT and the Sora video process. Root cause of the outage was traced to a power problem at Microsoft's data center in South Central U.S. region, which affected multiple services around the nation, including those of OpenAI. Microsoft confirmed that the full power was restored after 5 p.m. Eastern. Following the restoration, services began to recover, and Sora began fully operational at 6:15 p.m. Eastern, putting out all those creepy, weird videos again. ChatGPT's AI also showing signs of recovery at the same time. The incident is part of a series of outages affecting ChatGPT that happened in the past couple of months. One early in the event December, another one happening in June. Users expressing concerns over the reliability of these AI tools, especially given the growing integration of various applications and workflows. To say that without trying to read it and being butchered up, a lot of people are using AI for actual work. Some people, yes, they're cheating on tests and cheating on papers. Some people use AI to actually help their business work out. I use it to help me write stuff. And so it's my 0.0 draft of things coming forward, or help me organize ideas, things going forward. It works in that way for a lot of people. And for some folks, AI actually produces some things for them in helping get their workflow, and people who have very slow, very small organizations can get things done. But as we start to rely on it, it's not the machines taking over our minds and killing us. It's the machines breaking down at the wrong times, keeping us from getting things done. That will be what will destroy us. Exactly. NIL takes down another coach. Miami Hurricanes head coach Jim Larrañaga is stepping down from a 75-year-old head coach of the Miami Hurricanes men's basketball team. Said he's done, retiring yesterday. He cited exhaustion and frustration with the involving name, image, and likeness program, NIL, that college athletics is having to deal with. Larrañaga expressed that his heart is no longer in this game, and he just can't deal with it. It comes with a challenging season for the Hurricanes, who are right now 4-8, so not starting off so well. And NIL dynamics, transfer portals, things going on, just not worth it for him. Assistant coach Bill Courtney has been appointed as interim head coach for the Mariners season. He joined the staff in 2019, previously served as head coach at Cornell in 2010 to 2016. So he has head coaching experience, and he was just here for the ride, just doing what he can do. But now he's in the trenches making things happen as a real coach. The retirement adds to a growing list of esteemed coaches: Tony Bennett of Virginia and Jay Wright of Villanova, two big-time names, along with Larrañaga, who are saying, we're too old for this stuff. We just can't deal with it. Big-time accolades, so go through them. His actual win-loss record over 14 seasons with Miami is 274 over 174. So he's got 100 games ahead of 14. 100 games ahead in winning seasons for 14 seasons there. He also took to Final Four to George Mason one year. So there's that. But he can't deal with the NIL stuff. It's an issue. It's a real issue. And we're seeing it be happening back and forth right now. Finally, streaming for Wicked happening New Year's Eve. Deleted scenes and extended scenes will be in the streaming. Now, this is a good deal. We've talked a lot about shows, movies going to streaming extremely early. We talked about the new prequel to The War of the Rings, the animated prequel going to streaming this week. And we talked about the streaming for Red One going to streaming after 2 weeks, and maybe showing that it wasn't such a great movie, although making up the money on the streaming money, however that works out. The film adaptation of Wicked, the first one, is set to be available on rental and purchase on the 31st. Not free streaming, paid streaming, which means more money to you. This includes approximately 3 hours of bonus content featuring deleted scenes and extended scenes, commentary, and a sing-along version, which you can't see in the theater, so that's good. This film stars Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba and Ariana Grande as Glinda, and has been a major box office success, earning $392 million domestically, $580.9 million worldwide. Digital release will be available through Apple TV, Prime Video, and YouTube. Physical copies, including DVDs, Blu-rays, and UK UHDs, for pre-order, scheduled to be released after February. So take some time to press these discs, but you can get it digitally over the internet in a few days. The sequel, Wicked for Good, not Wicked Good, Wicked for Good, scheduled to hit theaters next year, November of 2025. So for next year's Thanksgiving, join up for Wicked again. It's ready to go. Already filmed, already ready to go, but it's the second half of the story. The story, if you read it in the book form, extremely long and a bit more detailed. If you watch it on the stage, it's a pretty long musical, but to get all the stuff in there to make it just as perfect as they can, they split it into two. So go for it. Deal with it. It is what it is. It's not Kevin Costner in four-hour, cowboy movies, but trust me, the Wicked fans will stand in line for the Wicked. Our teaser story for today, this is a story that I'm pretty sure is not going to make it to the weekend, through the weekend. So we're going to talk about it now because it's a heartwarming story to get you into Christmas. The story, if you choose to check it out, missing dog rings doorbell, returns home for Christmas. A dog that goes missing about a week before Christmas comes back on Christmas Day and rings the doorbell to show folks he's home. That's it. That's the story. There's a bit more to that. So if you want to get deeper into that and talk about this come Monday, yes, come Monday, this is Friday, so we're wrapping up the things you might have heard for the week. It's simple. When the story pops up in your feeds, go and follow it. What are your feeds? Well, there are feeds. There are links on Facebook and x.com/th_conversation and facebook.com/this is a conversation project. What we do is we post news articles every 50 minutes or so from various different sources. You may like the source, you may not like the source. You may like the headline, you may not like the headline. But what you do is to engage in it and tell us if it's worthy of some conversation, whether you're not so happy about the story or not. Click on it, like it, share it, engage in the story. Give us some comments here, there in social media. And what it gives us is a gauge of what stories are worthy of chatting about. The more engagement a story gets, the higher chance we have of talking about it. On Monday, we're going to give you 10 stories in this program, and that means that's 10 stories from 30 of the top stories of the 90 or so stories we get over the weekend. Today, tomorrow, Sunday, teeny bit of Monday. The rest of the week, just like today, you gave you 8 stories. For one day, we get about 30 stories. We take the top half of stories and pull 8 from them to get to you. So if this is a good story for you, you've got to push it hard for the weekend. 10 stories will make it for the Monday show, and you make it happen. Follow our feeds and email us if we're not getting the stories you think we should have on, because obviously some stories get shut down. We did not talk about, for example, today, we did not talk about story we teased yesterday about the business leaders throwing all the money towards the inaugural fund for Donald Trump, because we've covered that a couple times, and there are other stories that were newish and freshest to talk about, including the beef between H-1B visas. So if you want to make sure that your story is really on tops, make sure it gets plenty of engagement so I can't ignore it, or make sure it's a quirky one that you really get into that range. Our sponsor for today, this week we sponsored all books written by me, and this is one of the newest books that I've written called Conquer Sales Objections, Conquer Sales Objectives. And this is one that was kind of an interesting one to do, but it was something that really did sort of fall in line with what I was doing in my other life, online, doing business consulting and stuff for investments and buying stuff as well. And it really does actually come along for something, because it's a universal book, because everyone is essentially a salesperson. Everyone is essentially a marketer. Everyone is trying to convince other people to do stuff. That's sales. And so this book with 21 responses to questions that are used as ways for people who are buying to get out of the sale, objections to the sale. These are how to address those objections. I got a seal of approval from a good friend of mine who was a sales manager for many, many years. So the ideas are sound. It's not just me making stuff up and just going to ChatGPT and say, tell me some sales stuff. These are things that I've actually dealt with in my life as a very poor salesman and better marketer and person who sells sort of ideas to people as opposed to selling money stuff. So these are things that were near and dear. So I took the biggest ones and made it something, because there's a commercial on the radio that says 30% of your sales folks have not read a sales book. So I wrote a sales book just because the internet came up with a bad number. So if you are into sales or into marketing or into convincing, consider my book, Conquer Sales Objectives, Conquer Sales Objections. Wrong way. Conquer Sales Objections, which comes first, then you conquer sales objectives. It's a tongue twister, I know. But if you check the book out, it's got 21 specific responses to some of those big time sales objections. It can help you find a way to swerve out of those things and get a second look, a second try, and maybe even a sale that you didn't expect to get. The link is in this presentation. Also, you can look for it on Amazon. It's in Kindle form for $5 and for paperback, $10. Plus, just search for it with my name anywhere your books are found. It's in various other bookstores online because Amazon, the Kindle program, shares that process. But if you're looking to get better at your sales or just get better at convincing your in-laws to do things for you because you might need them to do things for you, try this book. It is there for you. Thank you in advance. So we're going long, but we're going to go ahead and do what we do on Fridays. We are going to always tell you about our home online. Excuse me. The Conversation Project lives online at thisisconversationproject.com. That's where you can find the details about what we do here. There literally is a page that says how we got here. Links to where we are all over the place. Also TikTok, also YouTube, also X. You can find past shows, some of them better than others, so you can see kind of what we do here and there. You can get insights from some of our sponsors. Sponsors are all affiliate links, so if you buy from them, we get a small commission back. You can become one of our partners and find information for partnerships. Partnerships is how we know how we're doing well directly because these are people who actually partner up. You can spend various levels for the Buy Me a Coffee platform or one-time donations via Zelle, via PayPal, via Cash App, via Venmo to allow us to know that we're doing good work for all of you. And if you think we're doing good, helping us out. Spare change level for Buy Me a Coffee is Joy Winters. Also, cup of coffee level is Harold Braxton, Colby Green, and Elton Kidd. And we also have the pot of coffee level as well. If you think we're doing well with what we're doing here, we can use your support. These are direct dollars on monthly subscriptions every single month to help us go through. I thank you guys immensely for being a partner, being a coffee partner, being a member of the team, and just love you that much. If you deem us worthy, consider it. If you don't deem us worthy, make sure you are following us on the feeds and emailing us with what we should be doing back and forth with our stories, because your vote, your words, your messages count just as much as the people who are the partners, sometimes even more because you're right there in the trenches with us. Wrapping up the Friday, December 27th edition of Things You Might Have Heard. I am Jay Cleveland Payne. We're going to start working on in a little bit the weekend show, the weekly roundup, and 12 stories in the past week that made the most impact, I guess, on me, if you will. These are all stories that you deem were conversations we covered in this show, but stories that may need a second look, that may have some updates, or may just need us to kind of shake our fist at the cloud one more time because it's just so out there. We'll give you those stories in a weekend edition coming up sometime tomorrow in the weekend. In the meantime, love you so much. Thank you so much for being with us. Consider being a partner, and definitely make sure you're following us in the feeds. We'll be back again with another one of these things